What's up, guys? Dawson Weedrick, nerdy in many ways. It has been a hot minute since I've made one of these videos, and I'm kind of not sorry about that because I've been doing wedding stuff. I've been setting up things for like pre-marriage dinners and stuff, and actually getting married, and then having my honeymoon, which it's all been fantastic. And I want to thank all those who have been watching and have congratulated my wife and I, and have supported us and all those things, and some of you may have even shown up to the reception and the wedding. And so again, thank you guys so much for all the support. It's been fantastic so far. Life's been pretty good. I couldn't be happier. But today I wanted to talk about one of the activities that my wife and I did on our honeymoon, which was go and watch the live-action movie Aladdin. And I'm not going to lie, I was very skeptical of this movie, much like a lot of you out there. As far as the fact that should it even be made, should it really even be touched, should it just be kept in the archives of Disney and left as it is because it was done so well originally. And that was kind of my thought process at first, but honestly I'm glad they touched it. I'm glad that they did a revamp of it like they did, because it was very enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'm still listening to songs from the soundtrack over and over again because I just really like how they did these songs. And first off, I'm just going to go through some of the songs I really liked from the movie, and then spoilers up ahead because I'm going to talk about some plot points, some characters, and things that I liked and disliked about them. And so be warned, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, just go on ahead and click X out of there, but make sure to like and subscribe on your way out the door. But the songs that I really liked, first off, was Arabian Nights, which was sung by Will Smith. And in the original animated movie, this song was like, okay, it kind of set the stage. You could tell it was an Arabic type setting. It was kind of meh. But in this version, I honestly thought Arabian Nights has, grounds for maybe being the best song of the movie, because it was so dang good. The music in it is so capturing, and Will Smith sings it so well, and there's so many harmonies thrown in there that weren't in the original version that I just thoroughly enjoyed. And of course, the introduction was a little bit extended just to give you a better peek into all of the characters and what they're doing at the time of the introduction. And so you get a couple more verses in there, a couple more musical parts in there, including some stoppages, some nice kind of percussion-like moments from violins and other instruments that are in the song. And it's just very cool. I loved it right off the bat. And so it was a really good kickoff point for me in that movie. Another song that I loved was Friend Like Me, which of course I love the original with Robin Williams. Of course, it's a classic, but Will Smith really made it his own. He really did his own rendition of it, and like I've been telling a lot of people, it's as if Fresh Prince from the 90s, which of course is also Will Smith, came into our day and portrayed the genie. And honestly, I loved it. I thought it was really cool how they did that. I thought Will Smith did it masterfully. He did a good job of making callbacks to Robin Williams and doing some things that he did, but also making the character his own, giving credit to where it's due, as well as doing what you will with the character. And he did a great job with that. And of course, Prince Ali was fantastic. That was also fantastic in the original, but Will Smith also made this his own. And they did a really cool musical addition to this song. They made it so that there was like a stoppage where like they held a note for a while until the Sultan, taps his finger for the song to continue going. And I thought that was a really cool addition to that song. I thought that was a really cool idea, because let's be honest, in the Prince Ali song, there's some things you just can't do in the live action film that was in the animated movie, like Aladdin lifting 10 men and all these different animals like balancing on top of each other like elephants and such. All these people, balancing on each other to shake Prince Ali's hand. So you can't really do some of those things. You have to do something different as far as like the music or something is concerned. And they did a good job with that. I thought that was really well done. And then the last song that I thought was really fantastic was actually a new addition to the Aladdin movie, which was Speechless, which was sung by Princess Jasmine, portrayed by Naomi Scott, who also did phenomenal as Princess Jasmine, by the way. I thought she did a really good job. Much more vocal version of Princess Jasmine, but her acting in the singing of Speechless during the movie was just fantastic. I honestly don't think anybody could have done it better. I mean, she had tears in her eyes. It just looked powerful. It looked like she was in frustration, so you believed her when she was singing the song. which a lot of Hollywood actors can capture that, but not very many people have captured it in a way that impressed me like Naomi Scott did with this song. And so, needless to say, she did a fantastic job. I could not complain. And I'm going to talk about some other characters real quick that they kind of did better. Better and also different. And I'm also going to talk about the differences. Jafar, to start things off, very different from the original cartoon. If you were expecting to see a Jafar who was tall, intimidating, and just evil looking, and calling Prince Ali Prince Abubu, you're going to be disappointed, because he's not very much like that at all. He looks very similar as far as his attire is concerned. He has the staff, he has, the black and red headdress and gear and everything. He has all of that, but it's a very different approach on the character. In the animated movie, you just kind of think he's just this rich sorcerer who's just kind of there. He was kind of already in the castle for a long time. Whereas in this movie, they make it clear that Jafar was not always in that situation, that he came from nothing, much like Aladdin did. The only thing is he used that nothingness and he became greedy for more power. He wanted to be at the top of the food chain, basically. And so that's his entire inspiration for wanting to become the Sultan of Agrabah, and eventually, ruling parts of the world, if not the entire world, because he does not want to be second best, because that's what he's been for years with this Sultan. Whereas that's not as entirely clear in the animated movie. I mean, you can kind of get that sense, but this movie really made it clear. In fact, it was interesting how they compared him to Aladdin when Jafar is, wanting Aladdin to go into the Cave of Wonders. He lets him know, I'm a lot like you, as he steals something from Aladdin and shows it to him, and Aladdin didn't even notice he took it. And so it shows that him and Aladdin are very similar in a lot of different ways. And so that was a very interesting dynamic with the hero and villain. And speaking of Aladdin, the actor for Aladdin, he did a pretty good job. His voice was actually pretty similar, in my opinion, to the original voice actor. And so it was very interesting. And Mena Massoud was the guy who acted as Aladdin. And again, voice was very well done. I mean, he didn't necessarily improve on the character, but it was definitely Aladdin. So props to him for that. And one funny thing that I thought was actually very well done they put in there was the relationship between Genie and Dahlia, who is actually the maiden of Jasmine, who helps her around, and as portrayed by Nassim Pedrad. And their dynamic was actually really funny, because it turns out the person telling the story and singing the song Prince Ali is the Genie, along with his wife Dahlia, who, as it turns out, the Genie had become human. Much like in the original, he was freed. But in this version, instead of just being simply freed with his magic, he was freed allowed to become human. And that's why he is married to Dahlia and has these kids that he's talking to and telling the story to, which I liked how they tied things up with that. And, I just feel like this movie was just very well done. They fixed a couple of things that weren't necessarily explained or weren't right in the animated movie. If you want to check out a video about how it fixed those things, you can get that in the description down below. I have a link down there for that. And, it just, again, fantastic movie. Really found very little to complain about. I mean, some songs were kind of but you know what? They delivered. It was very good, very fun, fantastic movie. Very glad I saw it, and kind of sorry that I doubted it in the first place. And so if you guys haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to check it out at your theater near you. And if you don't see it in theaters, at least go see it and get a copy of it from Redbox or something, because it is really fun. It's a very fun movie. It's one of the funnest times I've had in the theaters in a while. I mean, excluding Endgame, because, let's be honest, Endgame's in its own arena. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the Aladdin live-action take from Disney. Let me know what your thoughts were in the comment section down below. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.